5 Buddhist Teachings to Find Peace After Betrayal. Betrayal cuts deeper than almost any wound. It is not just the loss of trust. It is the shattering of our sense of safety, the breaking of bonds we once believed were unbreakable. Whether it comes from a partner, a friend, or even a family member. Betrayal leaves us questioning everything: our worth, our choices, even the meaning of love itself. And perhaps the hardest part is that the pain lingers long after the act, replaying in our minds like a storm we cannot escape. But what if there was a way not only to survive betrayal, but to transform it into a path toward wisdom and inner peace? Buddhism offers us this possibility. Instead of drowning in anger or resentment, the teachings of the Buddha guide us to look at betrayal differently, not as the end of our story, but as an opportunity to awaken to a deeper truth within ourselves. In this video, we will explore 5 powerful Buddhist teachings that can help you find peace after betrayal. These teachings are not abstract philosophy. They are living practices that touch the heart. You will learn how mindfulness can steady your mind when it feels shattered, how letting go of expectations frees you from chains of disappointment, and how compassion and forgiveness open the door to healing. We will also uncover practices like Tonglen meditation and the cultivation of patience, which allow us to transform pain into strength and discover freedom in the very place we were once wounded. Stay with me until the end, because these 5 Buddhist teachings may not erase the scars of betrayal, but they can help you wear those scars as symbols of resilience, wisdom, and unshakable peace. Teaching 1. Mindfulness. Facing betrayal with clarity. The first step toward healing after betrayal is mindfulness, the practice of being fully present with our experience, even when it is painful. Betrayal often leaves us in shock. Our minds replay the event again and again, searching for answers, blaming ourselves, or building stories of revenge. In this chaos, it becomes almost impossible to see clearly. Mindfulness offers a different path, the courage to face reality as it is, without judgment, without denial. The Buddha taught that suffering begins when we resist the truth of our experience. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to sit with the sting of betrayal rather than run from it. This does not mean we welcome the pain, but that we acknowledge it honestly. This hurts. This feels like loss. This is real. In naming our feelings, we create space between the pain and our reaction. That space is the beginning of freedom. Practical mindfulness can start simply. Each time a memory of betrayal arises, instead of drowning in it, pause. Breathe in slowly, noticing the ache in your chest. Breathe out, allowing your body to soften. Say quietly to yourself, "This is suffering, and I see it clearly." With time, these moments of awareness weaken the grip of anger, shock, and confusion. Mindfulness also helps us avoid the trap of self-blame. Betrayal often plants seeds of doubt. Was it my fault? Did I deserve this? Through mindful observation, we see these thoughts for what they are, just thoughts, passing like clouds across the sky. They are not the truth of who we are. When you cultivate mindfulness, betrayal no longer defines you. Instead, it becomes an experience you can observe, learn from, and ultimately rise above. Clarity replaces confusion, and presence replaces chaos. This is the foundation upon which true healing is built. Teaching 2. Letting go of expectations. Betrayal often cuts so deeply because it violates the expectations we hold about love, loyalty, and trust. We believe certain people will always stand by us. We expect honesty, care, and protection. When those expectations are broken, the pain is doubled. Not only do we suffer the loss itself, but we also suffer the collapse of the story we told ourselves about how things should be. Buddhism teaches us that expectations, when clung too tightly, become chains that bind us to suffering. The Buddha reminded us of impermanence. Everything changes. People, emotions, circumstances, even the roles they play in our lives. To expect permanence in what is inherently impermanent is to invite disappointment. Letting go of expectations does not mean lowering standards or tolerating mistreatment. Rather, it means accepting reality as it unfolds, without trying to force it to conform to our illusions. To practice this teaching, begin by reflecting on the expectations you held toward the person who betrayed you. Were they realistic, or were they rooted in a desire for permanence and control? Next, gently acknowledge that no person can fully live up to the stories we build around them. Breathe in and say, I release the need for things to be other than they are. Breathe out and say, I choose peace instead of illusion. Letting go of expectations creates room for healing. It frees us from the endless cycle of why did they do this? Oh, could they? And redirects our energy toward acceptance and growth. When we release the grip of expectation, betrayal loses its power to define us. Instead, we discover a quiet strength in embracing life as it is, moment by moment. In this letting go, we do not erase the pain, but we dissolve the chains that keep us tied to it. And in that release, we begin to reclaim our freedom. Teaching 3. Compassion and forgiveness after betrayal. The heart naturally burns with anger, resentment, and even a desire for revenge. These feelings are valid, but if we cling to them, they slowly poison us. Buddhism teaches that true liberation comes not from holding on to hatred, but from cultivating compassion and forgiveness first for ourselves, and then, when possible, for the one who hurt us. Compassion begins by turning inward. Too often, betrayal leaves us blaming ourselves. I should have seen it coming. It wasn't good enough. I trusted too much. But compassion reminds us that to be human is to be vulnerable. And vulnerability is not weakness. It is the heart's courage to love. Forgive yourself for trusting, for caring, for being open. These qualities are not flaws. They're signs of your humanity. Extending compassion outward is harder. How can we forgive someone who caused such pain? The Buddhist teaching is clear. Forgiveness is not about excusing harmful actions, nor about inviting the betrayer back into your life. It is about releasing the heavy burden of anger so that it no longer defines you. Holding hatred is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Forgiveness allows you to put down the cup. A simple practice is this. Sit quietly, breathe, and picture the person who betrayed you. Say softly, I see your suffering, and I release you from my anger. I forgive, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. You may not feel it fully at first, but over time, the words will soften your heart and dissolve the chains of bitterness. Through compassion and forgiveness, betrayal transforms from a wound into wisdom. You do not forget what happened, but you rise above it, carrying peace where there was once only pain. Teaching for Tonglen meditation. Transforming pain into peace among the many Buddhist practices for healing. Tonglen meditation is one of the most profound. Originating in Tibetan Buddhism, Tonglen means giving and taking. At first, it may seem counterintuitive. You breathe in suffering and breathe out relief. But this practice teaches us how to transform pain our own and that of others into compassion and peace. When betrayal wounds us, our instinct is to push the pain away, to bury it deep, or distract ourselves. Yet suppression only prolongs suffering. Tonglen invites us to face the hurt directly, with courage and openness. As you sit quietly, imagine breathing in the heaviness of your heartbreak. Picture the ache, the disappointment, the anger entering with your inhale. Then, as you exhale, imagine sending out warmth, love, and healing light, not just for yourself, but for anyone who has ever known betrayal. This practice reshapes our relationship with pain. Instead of feeling crushed by it, we use it as fuel for compassion. Betrayal no longer isolates us. It connects us to the universal human experience of loss and disappointment. We begin to see that our suffering is not unique, and in that shared humanity, healing becomes possible. Tonglen also loosens the grip of resentment. By consciously wishing peace for others, even those who hurt us, we break the cycle of anger and create space for freedom. This does not mean we condone their actions. It means we refuse to let those actions control our hearts any longer. Over time, Tonglen softens even the deepest wounds. Breath becomes a reminder that we are stronger than betrayal, and that pain, when met with compassion, can be transformed into peace. Teaching 5 Patience and Inner Peace. Khenenti, the final teaching for finding peace after betrayal, is Khenenti, often translated as patience, tolerance, or forbearance. Betrayal ignites a storm within us: anger, confusion, grief, and the natural impulse is to demand immediate relief. But true healing does not happen overnight. Just as deep wounds take time to close, the heart requires patience to mend. In Buddhism, patience is not passive waiting. It is an active strength. The Buddha described Khenenti as one of the highest virtues, greater even than heroic acts of conquest. Why? Because to remain steady in the face of pain, without collapsing into bitterness or retaliation, is a profound act of courage. Patience gives us the space to allow emotions to rise and fall without being ruled by them. Practicing patience means reminding ourselves, this hurt is real, but it is not permanent. Healing takes time, and I will walk this path gently. When painful memories return, instead of fighting them or judging ourselves for not being over it, we practice patience by breathing, acknowledging the feeling, and letting it pass like a wave. Patience also helps us avoid repeating cycles of harm. In the rush to escape loneliness or fill the void, we may be tempted to jump into new relationships too quickly. With patience, we learn to sit with solitude, to grow stronger in our own company, and to enter future connections with wisdom instead of desperation. Ultimately, Khenenti leads to inner peace. By embracing patience, we loosen betrayal's grip on our lives. We no longer measure our healing by speed, but by depth. And in this steady unfolding, peace takes root, calm, unshakable, and entirely our own. From betrayal to inner peace, betrayal can feel like the end of trust, the end of love, even the end of who we thought we were. But through the wisdom of Buddhism, we begin to see that even in the deepest wounds lies the seed of transformation. These 5 teachings are not meant to erase the pain, but to guide us in walking through it with courage, clarity, and compassion. With mindfulness, we learn to face betrayal without denial, seeing our suffering for what it truly is. By letting go of expectations, we release the chains of illusion that keep us trapped in the past. Through compassion and forgiveness, we lighten the burden of anger, allowing space for healing to bloom. With Tonglen meditation, we transform personal pain into a source of empathy and connection with all who have suffered. And finally, through patience, Khenenti, we discover the strength to let healing unfold in its own time, finding peace in the process itself. These teachings remind us that betrayal does not have the final word. Yes, it leaves scars, but those scars can become symbols of resilience and wisdom. When we practice the Buddha's path, we rise not as victims of betrayal, but as beings who have turned pain into insight and heartbreak into freedom. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If these teachings touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who may be struggling, and subscribe to Mindful Horizon for more Buddhist wisdom and mindful guidance. Together, let us continue walking the path of healing, peace, and inner freedom.